Please join us for the closing remarks. Dunja Mijatovic, a human rights expert and former Commissioner for Human Rights of the Council of Europe, together with Biljana Braithwaite, founding partner and CEO of Sustineri Partners and chair of Women on Boards Adria, will share their reflections on the discussions held and the insights gained over the past few days. They will also outline the path forward, emphasizing our collective responsibilities and the actions we can take to ensure a sustainable and equitable future. Join us in these final moments as we conclude with a look ahead to the continued efforts and collaborations that will emerge from our time together.
Thank you very much for the honor to be concluding on some extremely important issues. I'm not going to keep you long, but I'm going to focus on something that I find of great importance, and it is related to this extraordinary event that is taking place here in Tivat in Porto Montenegro for the second year in a row. This is my first year, even though I heard a lot about the importance, the reasoning behind something that I want to state very clearly, that we need more of these kind of events, not because, as we just saw, we are all having fun and enjoy each other's company and exchanges, but because it is crucially important for the future of this region. We heard so much about the way forward, about the right moment, about positive impulses from the EU and the rest. And we know that the politicians in this region are looking towards future, also listening about these positive messages that are constantly, in a way, focusing on the way forward and what needs to be done when it comes to the rule of law and many other topics discussed here. But my view as somebody from the region, as a Sarajevan, as a person from Bosnia and Herzegovina, that feels at home anywhere, but particularly in this region. And it's based on my work and everything I did in the past 20 years, but also recently working with Biljana and many colleagues that are actually seeing the danger. And the danger is that the young people will leave. They had enough of listening to all of us. And here, of course, the primary responsibility is really related to the politicians and the governments of the region. And no matter what we do and what we say, if we do not succeed to win hearts and minds of the young generations, we will fail. We will greatly fail as a region. And we will not have much to offer to the rest of the world or the EU. So making us more interesting and more competitive, it is to do with human resources. It is to do with the great potential of young people and the generations. And I would say that the cohesion policy should be the prime investment policy of the European Union when it comes to this region. I think it's also crucially important to see that this cohesion policy is introduced and translated in the region, that we are not just neighbors that need to talk to each other, but actually to move forward better future by recognizing the importance of young generations. And there, I think it is important to say that there are many reasons for this. One reason is that the voice of future generations who may be adversely affected by today's decisions, and if it is not heard in the conferences and events like this one and many other events in decision-making processes, then there is no reason to organize anything that will be talking about the future of this region. And what I've seen here is that the businesses, but also the organizers, are doing absolutely everything in order to bring them on board. Today, I had this extraordinary meeting with several representatives of different NGOs and different businesses from the Western Balkan region. And what they told me is something I heard so many times before. We need more recognition. We need to feel that we are participating, but truly, genuinely, really, not just, as we heard several times today, ticking the box. So these young people are our link between today and tomorrow. And I thank you, Biljana, and all of organizers for truly recognizing this as a potential, but also the way forward towards better future of this region. And I would like to see next year's summit with more young people, future leaders, talking about the economic development, social stability, health and well-being, the environment, AI, but also the politics. Because what I recognized, and I saw on so many occasions, that they have more power and even more courage when it comes to future. They are ready to fight for better future for them and for their families. And looking at what the President of Slovenia said, that we need more statesmen and less politicians, I still think we need politicians, and we need politicians with a responsibility and accountability, but we also need to see young faces and the new generation running and pushing this world towards better future as soon as possible. So I thank you very much, and I thank you, Biljana, and all partners and investors and everybody who took part in this extraordinary event for making it possible, and also making it possible for all of us to see in which direction we need to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, Dunja, you've articulated our mission a lot better than I have been able to in my opening speech. It really is, if we wanted to sum up what this summit is about, it's about future of this region, and future of the region is future of its people. And that is the young generation, and that's our capital. And everything we are talking about in terms of role of government and role of businesses is about making sure that this region serves the interest of both this and the future generations, and that we understand that if we don't act now on many issues, it'll be too late to be acting tomorrow to sort of instill that sense of urgency. I've been asked, like last year, by many of you, we get feedback from you, and you enjoyed it. This year, the key remark really was the quality and the caliber of the speakers that we brought, and many of you were genuinely impressed. And I was asked, are we pleased? How is the team feeling? And I think many of you who've been with us last year will agree that we've sort of taken it a step forward. We can see quite a lot of space to grow in terms of substance, in terms of engagement. But building on the foundations that we've established last year, we feel, in particular with the new initiatives we've launched, that we are creating something, what we're always saying that we want, is more of a framework of year-long cooperation rather than a high-level event, which will be a standalone event. So I've mentioned yesterday in my opening remarks that we have launched cooperation with chambers of the Western Balkans 6, that we've launched cooperation with 3 universities from Croatia, Serbia, and Albania, and that we will be launching education programs with them for both mid-career professionals and C-level and boards. That that we are also, and a couple of speakers have already referred to them, are launching the series of ESG Adria talks that will be thematic. And Bojan, I think you're absolutely right. AI and innovation emerge as one of the topics that we would like to delve more deeply into throughout the year. And we've launched our Next Gen program. And it's just starting. Dunja was just saying she met these remarkable young people. Many of you have. We will be, apart from anything else, very much relying on them to help us shape the agenda for the next summit so that it is relevant for both young audience that we will want to have join us, as well as sort of businesses and companies and financial institutions who are operating today. So I think we are, we can say we are pleased. When you organize events, one tends to focus on the things that didn't go exactly according to plan. But I think when we step back and reflect, the big picture will be that we've gone quite a way forward. And most importantly, built partnerships, both ourselves, and I'm aware of many partnerships that have been built amongst you here in the room, that will carry us forward to the next summit, and we will all be able to get together and discuss what have we achieved jointly in the year, from seemingly small things, but impactful things like recycling machines that you have seen downstairs that were generously donated to Summit by Tomra, will actually be with some financial institutions and banks, because they have just made these agreements here on the margins of the summit. And I'm aware that when you organize events, you'd like to have a room full, but a room is not full because people are having networking conversations on the margin of it, and that too is our very important objective. So for those who are not in the room, I will suggest to them to watch videos that will very soon be online. I'll do quick thank yous, and I see Pedja here in the audience. Thank you very much to Porto. First of all, Porto Montenegro has been a great host for us for the last 2 years. I think you'll all agree that it's a brilliant venue, and we look forward to strengthening that cooperation. To Tivat, which is, again, one of the jewels of our coast, and so is the Boka Bay. And I'm particularly glad that this year we had speakers who, and participants who haven't been, not in Montenegro, not in Boka Bay, not in Montenegro, but haven't visited Adriatic yet, and have been genuinely impressed, and I'm sure will pass these sort of stories on. And I'm looking to you, Manas, because you wear many hats, and one of them is doing the interviews and sort of comms with London Politica, and I know that you interviewed many speakers, and that we are looking to do something jointly with you throughout the year to promote the next summit and to keep the agenda alive. And some of those could be on Tivat and the location, I should very much hope. Thank you in his absence, to the President of Montenegro. It's been huge help. I think many of you remarked that the panel with the two presidents, often these panels are underwhelming when we have politicians, and as Dunja said on Blade Forum, after a panel like that, you understand why youth leaves. But here in this room, we had a panel that I think gave youth some hope, and that's actually quite exceptional for the politics of today in the region. And Director Mogherini, really again fantastic sort of to hear about that course. It will bring together the future leaders from the region with future leaders in the European Union. And I think we heard from both her and then from Zagreb Business School open invitation to propose young students and young talent to both. Very grateful to the government of Montenegro, all the ministers who were with us, Deputy Prime Minister Bečić, who has joined us on 2 separate occasions and has missed government session today, and we really are genuinely grateful. That demonstrates the fact that government also perceives this as an event that is important for Montenegro, important for the region, and could, going forward, become a convening platform. Hugely grateful to all of the speakers, in particular those that took out of their rather busy lives few days to be here with us. We had some sort of remarkable presentations, and what we will make sure with our comms and social media is to share them with as many as we can, because I think some of the panels were absolutely world-class, and anywhere in Europe they would have been sort of very interesting, because they were about cutting-edge issues. At present, other panels more focused on the region and were more practical, and again will be very relevant to businesses and companies. So we will use the materials we have very well over the next few months. And I mean, this is I think where I will obviously I will have to very kindly thank this very long and impressive list of partners and supporters, and in particular Obnovljivi Izvori Energije and OTP Group, Universal Capital Bank and Regent, who have, without whom none of this would be possible. And the earlier we make these partnerships, earlier we will be able to focus on the program and the agenda. So this year we will try to act more upstream, have more certainty over the date and all the details, so that we can make this summit an even bigger and more meaningful event for you all next year. Thank you very much. And you can tell I'm incredibly tired at this point, because I haven't thanked my team. And honestly, each time you come to, I mean, I was saying this last year, each time you come to me and say, this is brilliant, you are talking about someone else, because sort of everything you've seen here is result of our joint work. There was huge amounts of sort of short nights in the last, I mean, not even days, but weeks, really, and to pull it together at this level. We are not a government, we are not a major institution, we are a relatively small team, and I think taking that into account, the team has done incredibly well. So applause for the team, please. Thank you very much.